There's a vegetable sitting in your refrigerator right now that is quietly destroying the blood vessels in your legs. You bought it because you thought it was healthy. Your doctor never warned you about it. The packaging says natural. The color looks wholesome, and every time you eat it, it triggers a cascade of silent inflammation that stiffens your arteries, weakens your muscles, and pushes you one step closer to a fall that could change your life forever. Falls are the #1 cause of fatal injury in adults over 65. Not cancer, not heart disease, falls. And what I am about to show you today is how 3 specific vegetables that millions of seniors eat every single week are quietly making those falls more likely. But that is only half of this video, because I am also going to reveal 3 vegetables that do the exact opposite. 3 vegetables that protect your circulation, strengthen your legs, sharpen your brain, and can add years of strong, independent living to your future. I saved the most dangerous vegetable for last, because when I tell you what it is, you are going to be genuinely shocked. It is one of the most beloved foods in America. It has been on your dinner table your entire life. And the science showing what it does to your body after 60 is devastating. Stay with me through every single one, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly what to stop eating, exactly what to start eating, and exactly what happens inside your body when you make the switch. My name is Dr. Ryan Mitchell. I have spent over 31 years as a cardiovascular and internal medicine specialist working with adults over 60. I have treated more than 16,000 patients with circulation problems, chronic inflammation, muscle decline, and mobility loss. And I can tell you from 3 decades of clinical experience that what you eat after 60 is not just a matter of nutrition. It is a matter of whether you walk independently 5 years from now or whether someone else has to help you out of a chair. That is not an exaggeration. That is the reality I see in my clinic every single week. The patients who protected their legs, their circulation, and their balance into their 80s did not have better genetics. They did not have access to secret treatments. They made smarter choices about what went on their plate. And the ones who declined fastest were almost always eating the 3 vegetables I am about to warn you about, completely unaware of the damage being done. Before we begin the countdown, you need to understand one critical concept. After age 60, your body enters a state that researchers call inflammaging. It is exactly what it sounds like, a slow, constant, low-grade inflammation that burns quietly inside your body every single day. You do not feel it the way you feel a fever or a sore throat. It has no obvious symptoms, but it is there and it is doing damage. Inflammaging attacks the lining of your blood vessels. It stiffens your arteries. It weakens the tiny capillaries in your legs and feet that deliver oxygen to your muscles. It accelerates joint breakdown. It impairs the nerve signals that control your balance. And certain foods pour gasoline directly on this fire. Other foods act like a fire extinguisher. The difference between those 2 categories is the difference between steady decline and vibrant independence. That is what this video is about. Let us start with the 3 vegetables you must eat every single day after 60. These are your protectors, your armor, your foundation. Protector number 1, beets. If there is one vegetable that I wish every single patient over 60 would eat daily, it is beets. And the reason comes down to one molecule that your body is desperately running out of: nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the master signal that tells your blood vessels to relax, open wide, and let blood flow freely. It is the single most important molecule for circulation in your entire body. And after age 60, your natural production of nitric oxide drops by roughly 75%. That means your blood vessels are partially clenched shut all day. Blood flow to your legs decreases. Your muscles get less oxygen. Your feet get cold. Your balance suffers. Your energy crashes. Beets are the most concentrated natural source of dietary nitrates, which your body converts directly into nitric oxide. A landmark study published in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that adults over 65 who consumed beet juice daily for just 2 weeks showed a 38% improvement in blood flow to the lower extremities and a 24% increase in walking endurance. That is not a supplement in a bottle. That is a vegetable. Let me tell you about my patient Clarence, 74, retired mechanic from Alabama. Clarence came to me because his legs felt like dead weight by noon every day. He was an active man his whole life. Worked with his hands, walked job sites, climbed ladders. Now he could barely make it around the block. His circulation test showed significantly reduced blood flow below the knees. I started him on 1 cup of roasted beets daily with his lunch. Not beet supplements, not extract capsules, actual beets. Within 3 weeks, Clarence told me something had shifted. His legs felt warmer. The heaviness was lifting. By week 6, he walked a full mile without stopping for the first time in over 2 years. His wife called my office and said, "Whatever you did, keep doing it." He is a different man. Roasted beets, raw beets in a salad, or blended into a smoothie all work. The key is consistency. 1 serving daily gives your body a steady supply of the raw material it needs to produce nitric oxide around the clock. Your blood vessels will respond within days. If you are not eating beets right now, your legs are missing the single most powerful natural circulation booster that exists. Now, if what I have shared so far is resonating with you, drop the word beets in the comments below. I read every single comment, and I want to know how many of you are going to add this to your plate this week. Protector number 2, dark leafy kale. Not the decorative garnish sitting on the side of your plate at a restaurant. I am talking about real dark green curly or lacinato kale eaten regularly as a central part of your diet. Kale is what I call a triple shield vegetable because it protects 3 systems simultaneously: your blood vessels, your bones, and your brain. First, kale is one of the richest plant sources of vitamin K1. Vitamin K1 is essential for keeping calcium out of your artery walls, where it causes dangerous stiffening, and directing it into your bones where it belongs. After 65, arterial calcification accelerates rapidly. Your arteries become rigid, narrow, less able to deliver blood to your legs. Kale directly fights this process. Second, kale contains sulforaphane, the same powerful anti-inflammatory compound found in broccoli, but in higher concentration per gram in certain kale varieties. Sulforaphane suppresses the inflammatory signals that damage your endothelium, the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels that controls blood flow. Third, kale is loaded with lutein and zeaxanthin, antioxidants that cross the blood-brain barrier and protect your neurons from oxidative damage. Research from Tufts University found that adults over 65 who consumed 1 or more servings of dark leafy greens daily had cognitive function equivalent to someone 11 years younger. 11 years. That is not a marginal benefit. That is an entire decade of mental sharpness preserved by a vegetable. My patient, Lorraine, 72, retired postal worker from Chicago, came to me with 2 complaints. Her legs were getting weaker and her memory was getting foggy. Her daughter had noticed both changes and was worried. I added 2 cups of lightly steamed kale to Lorraine's daily diet alongside her existing meals. I did not remove anything. I just added the kale. At her 4-month follow-up, Lorraine's leg strength assessments had improved by 18%. Her daughter told me the mental fog had cleared noticeably. Lorraine herself said, "I feel like someone cleaned a windshield. I can think again and my legs are keeping up with my thoughts." The preparation matters. Lightly steam kale for 3 to 4 minutes. This breaks down the tough cellulose fibers and makes the nutrients dramatically more bioavailable without destroying the sulforaphane. Raw kale in a salad is fine occasionally, but steamed kale delivers far more benefit per bite for adults over 60 whose digestive systems are less efficient at extracting nutrients from raw fibrous plants. Add a drizzle of olive oil because the fat-soluble vitamins in kale, particularly vitamin K, need dietary fat to be absorbed properly. Protector number 3, sweet potatoes. This is the vegetable I call the complete package for seniors, and it is the perfect replacement for one of the dangerous vegetables I will reveal shortly. Sweet potatoes are rich in beta-carotene, a powerful antioxidant that your body converts into vitamin A. Vitamin A is critical for maintaining the health of your blood vessel walls, supporting your immune system, and protecting the nerve cells that control balance and coordination. But here's what makes sweet potatoes truly exceptional for adults over 60. They have a low glycemic index compared to other starchy vegetables. That means they release energy slowly and steadily into your bloodstream, instead of causing the sharp blood sugar spikes that drive inflammation and damage your circulatory system. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults over 60 who replaced high glycemic starches with sweet potatoes showed a 31% reduction in markers of vascular inflammation within 8 weeks. 31% less inflammation inside their blood vessels in just 2 months from a single dietary swap. Let me tell you about my patient Vernon, 77, retired teacher from New Mexico. Vernon was pre-diabetic with poor circulation in both legs. The skin on his shins had developed a grayish tone that concerned me. His diet was built around a starchy vegetable that I will name later in this video, one of the 3 dangerous ones. I asked Vernon to replace that vegetable with 1 medium sweet potato daily, baked with the skin on. Nothing else changed. His medication stayed the same. His activity level stayed the same. At his 3-month checkup, Vernon's fasting blood sugar had dropped 22 points. The color in his lower legs had visibly improved. His circulation scores were better across every measurement. He told me, "Doc, my legs feel like they have color again, not just on the outside, on the inside too." I knew exactly what he meant. Sweet potatoes are best eaten baked with the skin on. The skin contains concentrated fiber and additional antioxidants. You can also roast them with a small amount of olive oil or mash them with a pinch of cinnamon, which has its own blood sugar stabilizing properties. 1 medium sweet potato per day gives your body a steady stream of beta-carotene, fiber, potassium, and slow-release energy that protects your vessels instead of attacking them. Now, we move to the 3 vegetables you need to stop eating. And I need you to pay very close attention here because these are vegetables that look healthy, that most people consider healthy, and that are quietly doing damage inside your body every single day. But before I reveal them, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. I put out new videos every week on exactly these hidden dangers that nobody else is willing to talk about. And what I am about to share next is the information that most of my patients say changed everything for them. Dangerous vegetable number 3, raw tomatoes in large quantities. I know this is going to upset some of you. Tomatoes are an American staple. They are in your salads, your sandwiches, your sauces. But here's what most people over 60 do not know. Tomatoes belong to the Nightshade family and contain a compound called Sol-9 along with high levels of lectins in their seeds and skin. In moderate amounts, this is not a problem for most younger adults. But after 60, when your gut lining is thinner, your immune system is more reactive and your inflammatory baseline is already elevated. Large regular servings of raw tomatoes can trigger a low-grade inflammatory response that compounds over time. Research published in the Journal of Inflammation Research found that nightshade alkaloids can increase intestinal permeability in sensitive individuals, allowing inflammatory compounds to enter the bloodstream and travel to joints, muscles, and blood vessel walls. For adults over 60 with any degree of arthritis, joint stiffness, or circulatory concerns, this inflammation settles preferentially in the lower extremities. Your knees ache more, your ankles stiffen, the muscles in your calves become less responsive. My patient, Rosemary, 69, from outside Dallas, ate a large tomato salad nearly every day for lunch. She was proud of it. She thought it was one of the healthiest things she did. But her knee inflammation had been getting steadily worse for 2 years, and her leg circulation tests were declining despite walking regularly. I asked her to eliminate raw tomatoes for 6 weeks. Just 6 weeks. She resisted at first. She loved her salads, but she agreed. At her follow-up, the swelling around both knees had decreased noticeably. Her inflammatory markers had dropped. She told me, "Dr. Ryan Mitchell, I hate to admit it, but my legs feel looser than they have in years." Now, I'm not telling you to never eat a tomato again. Cooking breaks down a significant portion of the problematic compounds. A slow-cooked tomato sauce is far less inflammatory than a raw sliced tomato. But if you are over 60 and eating large quantities of raw tomatoes daily, especially if you have joint pain or stiffness in your legs, try removing them for 1 month and see what changes. You might be shocked. Dangerous vegetable number 2, corn, specifically the way most Americans consume it, which is frequently in large quantities and often in highly processed forms. Corn has one of the highest glycemic indexes of any vegetable. It spikes your blood sugar rapidly, which triggers an insulin surge, which drives systemic inflammation. Eaten regularly over years, this pattern contributes directly to arterial stiffness, reduced circulation to the extremities, and accelerated peripheral nerve damage. But there is another problem with corn that most people have never heard of. Corn is extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids relative to omega-3s. The modern American diet already contains roughly 15 to 20 times more omega-6 than omega-3. This imbalance is one of the primary drivers of chronic inflammation in Western populations. Every time you eat corn tortillas, corn chips, corn oil, or corn-based products, you are tipping that ratio further toward inflammation. A study from Ohio State University found that older adults who reduced omega-6 rich foods and increased omega-3 intake showed a 12% decrease in inflammatory biomarkers and measurably improved peripheral blood flow within 10 weeks. Let me tell you about my patient Eugene, 73, retired postal worker from Indiana. Eugene loved corn on the cob in summer, creamed corn in winter, corn tortillas with every dinner. He came to me with numbness in both feet that was progressing up toward his ankles. His blood sugar was borderline high. His inflammatory markers were elevated. I asked Eugene to remove corn and corn-based products from his diet completely and replace those portions with sweet potatoes and roasted beets. He told me it was the hardest dietary change he had ever made. But 8 weeks later, the numbness in his feet had receded noticeably. His blood sugar had dropped 19 points. His inflammatory markers were down across the board. He looked at me and said, "I thought my feet were going numb because I was getting old. It was the corn. I did not eat corn for 2 months and my feet came back." If corn is a regular part of your diet and you are experiencing any numbness, tingling, or circulatory problems in your legs and feet, remove it for 6 weeks. Replace it with sweet potatoes. Observe what happens. Your body will tell you the truth. And now I need your complete attention because this final vegetable, the most dangerous one on this list, is going to surprise you more than anything else I have said today. It is the most consumed vegetable in America. It has been on dinner tables for generations. People feel emotional about it. And the science showing what it does to your body after 60 is undeniable. Here is dangerous vegetable number 1. White potatoes. I know what you are feeling right now. Mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving. Baked potatoes on Sunday nights. French fries with your grandchildren. Potatoes feel like family. They feel like comfort. They feel like home. But here is the medical reality that I need you to hear. White potatoes have one of the highest glycemic indexes of any food on earth. Higher than white bread, higher than table sugar in some preparations. When you eat a white potato, your blood sugar spikes faster and higher than almost anything else you could put on your plate. And that spike triggers a chain reaction inside your body that is devastating for adults over 60. First, the blood sugar surge triggers a massive insulin response that drives inflammatory compounds into your bloodstream. These compounds attack the endothelial lining of your blood vessels, particularly the small vessels in your legs and feet. Second, repeated glucose spikes cause a process called glycation, where sugar molecules bond to proteins in your vessel walls, making them stiff and brittle. This is the same process that damages blood vessels in diabetic patients, and it happens to everyone who eats high glycemic foods regularly, not just diabetics. Third, white potatoes contain soline, the same nightshade compound found in raw tomatoes, but in higher concentrations, especially when potatoes develop green spots or are stored improperly. Solanine adds an inflammatory insult on top of the glycemic damage. A major study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition tracked over 70,000 adults and found that those who consumed white potatoes 4 or more times per week had significantly higher rates of hypertension and vascular stiffness compared to those who consumed them once per week or less. The participants who replaced white potatoes with non-starchy vegetables or sweet potatoes showed measurable improvements in blood pressure and arterial flexibility within months. Let me tell you about my patient Walter, 76, retired railroad worker from Missouri. Walter ate potatoes with almost every dinner. Baked, mashed, fried, it did not matter. Potatoes were the center of his plate. When he came to me, his legs were weak. His feet were chronically cold, and his circulation scores were among the worst I had seen in a patient without a diagnosed peripheral artery disease. His fasting blood sugar was elevated, but not yet diabetic. I told Walter the truth. Yay. I said the potatoes had to go. He did not like hearing it. He told me his mother made potatoes every night, and she lived to 88. I told him I understood, but his legs were telling a different story than his memories. Walter agreed to replace white potatoes with sweet potatoes for 90 days. Nothing else changed. At his 90-day follow-up, Walter's fasting blood sugar had dropped 27 points. His circulation scores had improved measurably in both legs. The coldness in his feet had diminished significantly. His blood pressure, which had been stubborn for years, dropped 11 points systolic. Walter sat in my exam room, looked at his numbers, and said something I will never forget. He said, "Doc, I gave up potatoes and got my legs back. Those potatoes were costing me more than I knew. That is what I want every single one of you to understand. White potatoes are not food for aging legs. They are a slow, quiet saboteur that feels like comfort while it steals your circulation, your strength, and your independence, one meal at a time. Now, here's your action plan. This is what I want you to do starting this week. Week 1, remove white potatoes from your diet completely. Replace them with 1 medium-baked sweet potato daily. Add 1 cup of roasted or raw beets to your lunch or dinner. These 2 changes alone will begin shifting your inflammatory markers and improving blood flow to your legs within 10 to 14 days. Week 2, add 2 cups of lightly steamed kale to your daily diet. Drizzle with olive oil for absorption. Reduce raw tomato intake to small amounts and switch to cooked tomato sauces when possible. Begin reducing corn and corn-based products week 3 and beyond. Maintain the routine. Sweet potatoes, beets, and kale should become daily staples. White potatoes, large quantities of raw tomatoes, and corn should become rare exceptions, not regular features of your plate. By the end of month 1, most of my patients report less leg heaviness, warmer feet, better energy, and noticeably less joint stiffness. Here is what you do not do. Do not try to change everything in one day. Start with the potato swap because that single change delivers the biggest impact fastest. Do not assume that 1 serving of beets per week is enough. Consistency is what builds protection. Daily servings create daily nitric oxide production. Do not overcook your kale into a lifeless mush. 3 to 4 minutes of light steaming preserves what makes it powerful. And do not let anyone tell you that what you eat does not matter after 60. It matters more after 60 than it ever did before. I challenge you right now. Give me 30 days. 30 days of eating beets, kale, and sweet potatoes daily. 30 days without white potatoes. 30 days of treating your plate like medicine for your legs. And then come back to this video and tell me what changed. Tell me your legs feel warmer. Tell me the stiffness in your knees is better. Tell me you walked somewhere you had given up on. Tell me you feel the ground beneath your feet again, because that is what is waiting for you. Drop your age and where you are watching from in the comments right now. I read every single one, and your story helps someone else find the courage to make the change. If this video opened your eyes today, share it with someone you love. Your spouse, your neighbor, your friend from church who has been struggling with their legs. This information should not be a secret. Hit subscribe and the bell so you never miss a new video. I release life-saving content every single week for adults over 60 who refuse to accept decline as inevitable. Your legs have carried you through every chapter of your life so far. Feed them what they actually need, and they will carry you through the next one. I am Dr. Ryan Mitchell, and I will see you in the next one. Your strongest years are not behind.